Hello and welcome back. Um, this group of videos is really intended for people who've watched the Frogger tutorial already. But if you've seen other videos and you're sort of okay with Scratch, um, maybe try out some of these ideas. So I'm often asked about what can you do after you've made Frogger, and the answer is a lot. But stop making Frogger. Just use the pieces of it. So here today in this video, I'm just going to turn the cat into like a shooter kind of game. It's going to have little laser beams blasting out of it, and it's going to use pretty much all the exact same things that we learned in Frogger. Yeah, so let's get started. For the simplest version of this, I'm just going to leave the cat stationary for a bit. At the end, I'll bring back something I talked about in the Frogger video. Frogger videos about movement. So there's good ways of making movement and bad ways of making movement. And the things we learned in Frogger are just not one of the good ones. So I'm going to make a little laser beam. It's going to be purple because I'm lazy. Boop. There's my little laser beam. And the easiest way to code for a laser beam, a bullet, something that comes back all the time, is a variable. Not variable. What am I thinking? It's not variable. A clone. We're going to make clones. So like most clones, we hide the original, and we're going to, what we want to do is leave it open for the user, the person playing the game, to shoot some bullets, shoot some lasers. So we're going to hide our original clone, and then we're going to generate a new clone with the spacebar. So make a clone of myself when the spacebar is pressed. And then the clone, remember from the Frogger video, we need two parts for cloning. The generating the clone, and then the part that is the behavior of the clone. So for these laser beams, we want them to come out of the cat. Out of the cat. I'll show you later on how to make them come out of his eyes if you really want to. But they're going to come out of the cat. I'm going to have them so they point towards the mouse pointer so you can sort of aim it. It's going to go to sprite 1, which is the cat, and then it's going to move. It's just going to move forever. Move 10 steps, and we've hidden it, so it's got to show up. So here we go, and bzz, look at it go. Uh-oh. Oh no, they stick on the outside. Oh, how do we get rid of those? Looks pretty neat though. Like Frogger, we're going to use an if statement and sensing. If touching the edge, delete this clone. Boop. So there we go. A laser shooter. If you don't want your cat to shoot laser beams so rapidly, put a little bit of weight in there. Make it, half a second. And then he can only shoot every half a second. Kind of looks like it's coming out of his neck. That would hurt a little bit. A very simple way of changing this is simply manipulating this costume to move it around. So I'm just going to guess. So look at that. Woo! It does, however, change it when it comes around here. Oh, now it's shooting out of his butt. Oh, gross. Yeah, so you can move the costume around to see where it changes. Maybe the better option would be moving the cat. So his eyes are sort of in the middle. And that. And now that's going to affect other things, but whatever. Now the laser beam's coming out of his eyes. Pachoo, pachoo, pachoo. Earlier I talked about making him move a bit better. In the Frogger video we used these here because in Frogger the frog or the cat jumps a certain amount. Like in our game we'd move 36 steps, but that leads to fairly clunky movement if you're not jumping like certain steps rather. So I really like this structure here, which is very similar to the setup we had in Frogger, except we're using a forever loop, and the conditionals, the if statements, basically do the same thing we had with the if button pressed, key pressed, whatever. Yeah, so we just keep duplicating this, and that becomes X, becomes right arrow, duplicate, left arrow, negative X. Now this movement here, oops, I got something wrong. That needs to be negative. There we go. So this movement here allows down. Oh, there you go. Yeah. This movement allows for going diagonally and moving around, and it's much smoother than the other clunky bit. So this is a fairly hard game to play because I've set the keys to the arrows, but shooting is the space bar. So let's change the space bar and make it the mouse pointer, which is also an option in sensing. But the problem with the mouse, using the keyboard or the mouse click rather, to do it is normally when you click something, you select something with your mouse. It's actually the mouse up. See, it causes some problems. It's the mouse going back up that actually initializes it. So we have to change this around a little bit. It's not terribly difficult. Where we just like that. So when the mouse mouse is down, we wait until the mouse is not down, and then it shoots. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, it's just different. Little mouse clicking, and then I can use my arrow keys to drive around. So there's a fairly simple shooter. I would hope that you would build a game out from here. It's much better. You could easily have like we had in Frogger. Like I'll just add a car like in Frogger, and the car is gonna drive across the top, and you can blast away at it. You know what? I'm not going to show you that. Like, go watch the Frogger video. You can make the car drive across here using the same code from there. If you don't want it to drive across, you can have it fall from the sky. There's lots of games like Missile Command and the such, Galaga and Space Invaders, these types of things, where they fall from the sky like this. Use these lasers and the sprites and stuff to build that. All right, see you next video.